Okay, today we're looking at the contents of the medical gases bag, Bag2. Our Bag2 contains a bottle of oxygen and a bottle of Entonox. Be aware that some teams don't do that. Some teams have 2 bottles of oxygen or 2 bottles of Entonox in their bags. So if you see Buxton's gases bag turning up on a job, don't assume that it's got one of each. It'll probably have both oxygen or both Entonox. So let's have a look and see what's inside the bag. So today we're not talking about the clinical presentations, the clinical uses of oxygen or Entonox. We're just talking about the mechanics of where everything is in the bag and how it all goes together. So in the bag, in the outside pouch, should be Entonox giving set and Entonox mouthpiece and filter. In the top lid pocket should be a high concentration oxygen mask, a pediatric high concentration oxygen mask, and another high concentration oxygen mask. And then in the main body of the bag you have 2 bottles. One is Entonox, one is oxygen. Oxygen is the one with the black body, the white shoulder. The Entonox is the blue one with the blue and white shoulders. So if we start with the Entonox, as I said, it's the blue one, blue for Entonox. So single use mouthpiece and filters. They look like this. There's a mouthpiece and a filter. Start with the bottle. Start over here. We have the filling connector, so we have no need of that at all. That's how the gases company fill it. We have a contents gauge, which in a minute is saying about 3/4, and then we have an on-off valve. So plus is that way, minus is that way to turn it on all the way. That's on. Then we have the connector. Now this part here goes into the connector and you should hear it click. At the other end, works a bit like a scuba regulator in that if I suck on this tube here, it opens a valve and gas comes in. There's also a flush or purge valve on the back, and an exhaust valve here, so if you breathe out through it, it'll go out that way. So connect it like that, so everything's in one thing, in one alignment. So generally it's important to say that the patient holds this and puts it in the mouth and sucks on it, and then you have the anaesthetic properties of the Entonox. Now this patient has no arms, so I'm going to do it for them. So it's going to go in their mouth, and then we're going to encourage them to breathe in and out, nice slow deep breaths like that. Don't need to take the mouthpiece out of their mouth, just breathe through it, it'll come out the exhaust valve. It's nice deep breaths in and then out again. And then after a bit, their head will start to spin, their ears will buzz, they might feel a bit giddy, they will start laughing, that's why it's called laughing gas, and hopefully they won't care anymore that their leg is pointing off at a strange direction. When you finish with it, if you turn the cylinder off, and then push the button, just to bleed out any residual nitrous oxide and oxygen out of the tube. We can then rotate this collar and the connector disconnects. If you don't bleed it out first, so that's, I turned that on, now I turn it back on again, so that's now pressurized. If I now rotate the collar, it blows out a little bit. It's not a disaster, it's just a bit of a shock. If it's cold When the gas comes out of compression through here, all of this cools down, and you will find that all of this can get covered in frost. Because metals contract a bit when they get cold, things might suddenly start not sealing quite as well, so you might get a random Internox leak out of here. It's not a disaster, it's not going to blow up, it's just going to waste some oxygen, some Internox into the atmosphere. So that's the Internox. Filling valve, filling connector, contents gauge, on-off switch, connector for the giving set. Quick look at the oxygen bottle. Starting again, we have a filling valve. We have a contents gauge. This one's showing again about 3/4. We have an on-off valve. So let's turn that one all the way on. We then have something that looks suspiciously the same as the Internox giving set, the Internox valve. The Internox connector doesn't go in there properly, okay? It doesn't fit. So if you find yourself going, why doesn't the Internox fit? It's probably because you're trying to fit the Internox into an oxygen bottle. Up the top, we have a little metal nipple and a flow regulator. So this flow regulator, we can choose how many litres per minute, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 15. So how many litres per minute we are pumping out through this pipe. And this pipe connects to an oxygen mask. Connected on like that. And then we're going to turn it on. It depends on why you're giving oxygen, how many you're giving, at least 6, probably 10, 12, 15. So when we start off, what we want to do is fill this reservoir bag here, and you can see it slowly filling up. You can help it fill up just by pushing on that valve there, and that's ready to go. So we're going to put it on the patient, over their mouth and nose, and then put the elastic behind their head, and we can take in like that to make sure it doesn't fall off. So as they breathe in now, what you should see is them breathing in, this reservoir bag will be sucked like that. As they breathe out, the gas comes in from the pipe and refills the reservoir bag. If when they breathe in, they suck that dry, and then the masks then start sucking onto their face, you probably aren't giving enough oxygen. But that's it, it's really simple. Obviously oxygen supports combustion, so don't give oxygen to someone who is already on fire. It will make things worse. Or don't give oxygen to anyone who is trying to light something. It will make that fire a bit bigger. So we're going to turn it off, turn it down to 0, unplug the pipe, and then turn the bottle off. Just in case this leaks a little bit, we can turn off that valve there, off, and then put it all away. Really simple.